Greetings, geeks, and welcome to a special event announcement for our Wizards, the Podcast Guide to Comics Superhero Fantasy Draft.
It's time for some super football or something.
Adam doesn't know much about football. So,
No.
anyway, I've been talking about this for a while, wanting to do a superhero fantasy draft, and I've kind of come up with a way to do this, and I'm still finalizing all the details. We've teased it a few times, we've announced it here and there, but we're now going to legit do it. And Adam was a little bit confused because he's never done any kind of fantasy draft before. So I figured I would explain how this all works and how drafting, whether it was players in fantasy football or superheroes in our makeshift draft here. So I'm going to share my screen because I put together a little PowerPoint presentation or keynote because I'm a Mac user because that's
Look
the way.
at this, guys.
Yeah,
Wow, very fancy.
I'm legit here. So, so we got the Wizards, the Podcast Guide to Comics Fantasy Superhero Draft brought to you by Michael and Adam. And I put effects in there and I got some nerd. So Pete from my other podcast, Box Office 30, built this really awesome logo for the event, and I have to showcase it and shout him out. And I wanted to kind of break down the rules on how this works. So first, there's going to be 10 teams, including Adam and I being a team each. So we're looking for 8 additional people to be involved in this draft. There's going to be 12 rounds, and it's called a snake draft. I'm going to get into that in a minute. And each hero or character is assigned a point rating. There are no trades. I am not going to allow trading draft position because it's extremely complicated and I don't have an automated system like some of the fantasy football systems. So what your draft pick number is, you're going to pick in that order, and that's it. Maybe in the future I'll do draft trades, but I'm not going to do it now, and I don't want to get into it. Each person has 90 seconds to make a pick, and I found an online automated 90-second ticker that'll beep at 15 seconds before your time runs out, and it will automatically restart. I'm going to go into that in a minute as well. So if you want to be involved in this draft, please contact us either at our email, wizardscomicspod@gmail.com, contact us through Twitter at wizardscomics, or through Instagram at wizards_comics. The first 8 people will receive an exclusive Zoom link and a Google Sheet link. You will not be able to make edits. I am the only one that can make edits, but you'll be able to see the characters that are involved, the draft order, and all that kind of stuff. The Google Sheet, like I said, will list all the characters you can potentially draft. So you can't just pull somebody at random. There's a list of a bunch of characters. I'm going to show you that in a little bit. Adam and I will make up the 9th and 10th teams. So there's going to be 12 rounds in this snake style draft. And what is a snake draft? I'm sure Adam is like, I have no idea. So the draft order will be picked at random. And I use this really cool randomizer website where I'll list everybody's names and it will choose your draft order. And we're going to go through that in a second. In a snake draft, if you are pick number 1, you don't pick again until 20, and then you'll pick 20 and 21, and so on and so forth. The snake draft literally wraps around the order. So player 1 picks 1, 20, 21, 40, 41, and so on. And I'm going to show you this right now. So I have this Google Sheet going on here, and I'm just testing things out as we go along. So you'll see if I make this full screen, player 1 is here. Then you'll see player 1 picks at 20 and 21, and then they pick again at 40 and 41, and then they pick again at 60 and 61, and all the way down to pick 120, which is the last pick in the draft. And you'll see there's player scores based on this column right here, which will say how much a character is worth, right? So there's a bunch of characters over on this left-hand side that are worth 10 points, and there are some that are worth 9 points, some that are worth 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. for a total point value of 945 points, right? And then you're going to see on this other column over here, I'm just testing out the numbers, why there's weird letters and hieroglyphics and whatever in here. As you pick a player, I am going to cut it from the column and paste it in whatever your slot is, and your point value will calculate over here, and that character will appear in your round draft number. That's kind of how the whole thing's going to work out. Does that make sense, Adam? Can you follow?
I'm getting it. I'm amazed by the technology of Excel spreadsheets.
Yes. I'm a master at formulas. What can I say? So, the Google Sheet will show your draft pick numbers. Like I said, you'll have 90 seconds per pick. If you can't make a pick within the 90 seconds, you will automatically be given the highest ranking player, or character. So if usually in the beginning round, it goes really, really quick. People are like, oh, I'm going to grab Superman, Wonder Woman, Thor, whatever, the strongest characters and so on. As we get to the later rounds, it's like, oh, I don't know who to pick. Do I pick the Question, or do I pick, some other, Beast Boy? I don't know. And if you don't make the 90 seconds and the beep goes, I'm going to give you the next available player automatically. The Google Sheet will show your draft pick numbers, and each team is only going to be allotted 100 points, okay? So let me explain the point system. For picks and points, each player will pick up 12 characters. Each player will have the opportunity to pick from a list of 134 possible characters. Only 120 will totally be picked because of the fact that some people just won't pick ones. There's 67 Marvel characters, 67 DC characters. No, I did not do any Image characters or Valiant characters just because I don't know how to rate them and give them strength values based on what they can do. Each character has been assigned a point value based on their strength, invulnerability, tactical ability, intellect, power set, and cunning. Each player will be given 100 hero points to work with. You cannot exceed 100 points. You also cannot have less than 12 characters. So you have to have a full roster, and you have to stay at or below 100 points. And you'll be able to
see. Michael, math.
You have to keep an eye out to pay attention. You must end the draft, like I said, with 12 characters and at or less than 100 points. At the end of the draft, each owner will vote to see who they thought had the best draft. Okay? And the Wizards podcast at some point will figure out some sort of prize for the winner. Okay. Now I'm going to show you this spreadsheet again, just to kind of give you a little bit more information, right? So as I said, if I were to grab Superman, I will highlight it, cut it, paste it into whatever player picks it. It will be removed from this column. So you'll be able to see where characters go. And then we'll know the pick order of where things are, how things gone through 120 picks, and the names will show up over here, and your point value will be here. So you can't necessarily pick, Superman, Black Adam, Wonder Woman, the Spectre, Scarlet Witch, Hulk. If you pick 10 level characters, you'd have 100 points. You don't have enough players to meet the 12-team roster. You have to figure out your math and not go over 100. So it's a little bit more of a tricky, cunning sort of methodology, but it'll be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be really exciting to do, and I hope it really does well. Adam, what are your thoughts or comments or questions or ideas?
Well, I mean, it's much more involved, like you said, the strategy of it that I had considered. So I'm very interested now. I'm looking, having seen the list, I'm very excited by the characters we get to choose from, the discussions that will happen, in that 90 seconds as you're selecting, well, I like this person because of this, blah, blah, blah. So my one question I have, though, is how long do you think this will ultimately take if we have everybody keeping themselves at 90 seconds, just so people that know how to plan? Is this a 2-hour event?
I would say we're going to be doing this for 2 hours. So, it's going to be a 2-hour block of time to goof off, crack jokes, pick players, and rock and roll from there. That's my bet. I mean, I'd say the first 3 to 4 rounds are going to go really, really fast. But as we get into like rounds 5 through 12, it's going to take a little bit longer, and the time will a lot in that sense. And then the voting part at the end, hopefully it takes maybe like 5 minutes or so to vote and say, oh, this team is definitely the best by far, and we'll know the winner by the end. But yeah, I think it's gonna be something cool, something different. And if you got 2 hours to kill, you crack open a beer and hang out and chat with us, if you want to. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna be pretty cool, and I've spent a lot of time building this spreadsheet here, which I hope I don't screw up any formulas. I was checking them like crazy last night, trying to get everything to match up perfectly, but it's pretty solid so far. Yeah. Any other thoughts,
Yeah,
Adam?
I'm excited for you just because, yeah, it has been so long in the making and it's looking great. I think it's going to be fantastic for everybody. So we invite you, if you want to be a part of the Elite Eight, the awesome 8 that will join us, because there's just those 8 spots. We want you to be part of the crew. So make sure that you reach out to us in any of those channels that Michael mentioned, because your time is slowly arriving, but it will be here before you know it. So we're putting the word out to you now so that you can mark that off on your calendar and then join us for the fun.
I would also like to request that anybody who's interested in getting involved in the draft, please let us know by October 6th. This way I can have the list of 10 teams and do the draft order pick, and I'll do a short little video about that we'll share with everybody, so you know what your actual draft order is ahead of time. You can start it. A lot of it goes with strategy. You need to know where you're going to pick, so you're not just going in there blind at the 0 hour, so to speak.
Yep, absolutely. So, all right, guys, get ready for some fun. Oh man, and this prize pack we're going to put together for you, I think you're going to enjoy as well. So we'll announce it at the event so everybody knows what they're competing for. But again, thank you so much for joining us for this special, exciting episode to give you the details of our fantasy superhero draft. And until next time, keep your books bagged and boarded.